In the heart of the Arctic, hidden beneath layers of ice, lay a secret chamber. This chamber was a marvel of technology, filled with glowing tubes and humming machines. The air was cold, but the atmosphere was electric with the promise of something extraordinary. Within these tubes rested Earth's last hope, the super soldiers. Outside, alien invaders roamed freely, searching for any sign of life. They had come from a distant planet, powerful and ruthless. Their mission was clear: eradicate humanity and claim Earth for themselves. They thought they had succeeded. But they were wrong. In the deepest part of the chamber, alarm suddenly blared. Bright red lights flashed, casting eerie shadows on the walls. The aliens had stumbled upon the chamber, unaware of the powerful beings asleep inside. One of the soldiers, Commander Stratus, stirred in his tube. His body was strong, enhanced by years of advanced science. He felt a rush of energy as he awoke, but confusion clouded his mind. What is happening? Stratus thought, his heart pounding. He remembered being human, his laughter, his dreams, and then the darkness of sleep. But that sleep was over now. He opened his eyes wide, taking in the sight of the chamber. The glowing tubes around him housed others like him, all with incredible powers and skills. As Stratus regained his senses, the glass of his tube slid open with a hiss. He stepped out, feeling the cold air on his skin. The world had changed while he slept, and he was not sure if it was for better or worse. He turned to see other soldiers waking up. Their expressions were a mix of confusion and determination. "Stay alert!" Stratus shouted, his voice echoing in the chamber. "We need to understand what is happening." The soldiers began to gather, shaking off the fog of sleep. Each one was a warrior, trained for battle, but they needed to remember their purpose. Stratus quickly assessed his team. There was Sergeant Lila, agile and fierce, Corporal Jax, the strongest of them all, and Lieutenant Mira, a brilliant strategist. Together they were a force to be reckoned with. The aliens outside were beginning to realize something was amiss. They moved closer to the chamber, their footsteps heavy on the icy ground. Stratus could hear their voices, a mix of confusion and excitement. They did not know the danger that lay inside. "Get ready!" Stratus commanded, feeling the adrenaline surge through him. "We need to fight for our home!" The soldiers nodded, their eyes shining with determination. They quickly formed a circle, each warrior ready to defend their newfound family. Stratus could feel the strength of his comrades. It filled him with hope. They were not just soldiers, they were the last defenders of Earth. Just then, the chamber's monitors flickered to life. A holographic image appeared, showing a map of the world. The soldiers gasped as they saw the devastation left by the aliens. Cities lay in ruins and nature was dying. Stratus clenched his fists, anger boiling within him. "This is what we must change," he said passionately. "We are the super soldiers made for this moment. We will take back our planet." The soldiers cheered, their voices rising in unison. They could feel the fire of purpose igniting within them. Stratus turned to the map again, focusing on the nearest alien outpost. It was a stronghold filled with enemy forces, but they had the element of surprise. "Let's move!" Stratus ordered. "We are stronger than they think. It is time to show them what we can do." With that, the super soldiers stepped out of the Arctic chamber, ready to face whatever awaited them. The cold air hit them like a wave, but their hearts burned with determination. They were no longer just soldiers, they were the hope of humanity. As they ventured into the world above, Stratus took a deep breath. The fight had just begun, and they would not rest until Earth was free. The sun shone weakly over the desolate landscape as Stratus and his team emerged from the Arctic chamber. The air was cold, but the soldiers were warm with purpose. They looked around, taking in the sight of a world scarred by war. The cities they once knew were now ruins, and the trees that used to stand tall were burnt and broken. Stratus felt a deep ache in his heart. Memories of laughter, love, and life flooded back. He remembered the beauty of Earth before the aliens came. Now it was a shadow of its former self. But he also felt anger at the invaders who had caused this destruction. They had taken away their home, but now it was time to fight back. "Stay close," Stratus said, glancing back at his comrades. "We have a mission to complete. We need to find the nearest alien outpost and gather information about their forces." The soldiers moved as one, their steps strong and purposeful. As they walked, they passed crumbled buildings and broken streets. Each step reminded them of what was lost, fueling their determination to reclaim their world. After some time, they arrived at a hill that overlooked a sprawling alien outpost. Strange machines buzzed and whirred, and alien soldiers patrolled the perimeter. Stratus crouched down, his keen eyes scanning the area. "There it is," he whispered, pointing to the outpost. "We need to know their numbers and defenses. If we're going to attack, we need a plan." Lila nodded, her eyes sharp. "I can use my agility to get closer and gather information. Just keep an eye on me." "Be careful," Stratus warned. "Stay low and don't get caught." With a nod, Lila slipped away, moving silently like a shadow. The others watched as she disappeared behind a nearby building. Time seemed to stretch as they waited, tension hanging thick in the air. Minutes later, Lila returned, breathless but excited. "I saw their numbers. There are more than 20 aliens guarding the perimeter, but their patrols are predictable. They change every 10 minutes. "Good work," Stratus said, his heart racing. "That gives us a chance. We can time our attack for when they switch." Jax, who had been listening closely, stepped forward. "I can take out the guards near the entrance. With my strength, I can create a distraction. They won't know what hit them." Stratus considered this. "All right. Once we take out the guards, we move in quickly. Mira, you lead the way inside and look for anything we can use to our advantage." The team nodded, confidence growing with each moment. They could feel the weight of their mission pressing on them. But now they had a plan. As the alien patrol shifted, Stratus whispered, "Now!" They moved swiftly, Jax charging toward the guards with incredible speed. He slammed into the first alien, sending it flying into the air. The others turned in shock, but it was too late. The super soldiers were upon them. Stratus fought fiercely, his movements precise and powerful. He struck down one alien after another, using every ounce of training he had received. Lila danced around the battlefield, her agility allowing her to evade attacks and strike from unexpected angles. Within moments, the guards lay defeated. The silence that followed was a stark contrast to the chaos of battle. Stratus looked around, catching his breath. "We did it! Now let's move inside." They rushed into the outpost, finding themselves in a dark hallway filled with strange machinery. The air was thick with the smell of oil and metal. Mira led the way, her eyes scanning for anything useful. "Look for data files or maps," she instructed. "We need to know more about their operations." As they searched the room, Stratus spotted a terminal glowing with alien symbols. He approached it, his heart pounding with excitement. With quick movements, he began to decipher the codes, looking for any information about the enemy's plans. Suddenly, a loud alarm blared throughout the outpost. Red lights flashed and the sound of footsteps echoed in the halls. "We have to hurry," Lila shouted. "They know we're here!" Stratus finished downloading the data just as the first wave of alien soldiers rushed in. "We have what we need," he yelled. "Let's get out!" The team fought their way through the advancing aliens, determined to escape. With each step, they pushed closer to the exit, the thrill of victory surging through them. As they burst outside, they felt the cold air wash over them like a wave of freedom. They had reclaimed a piece of Earth, and with the information they gathered, they would be ready to fight back. Stratus looked at his team, a sense of pride swelling in his chest. They had taken their first step toward reclaiming their world, and there was no turning back now. The cold wind howled around Stratus and his team as they took refuge in a hidden cave not far from the alien outpost. Inside, the cave felt warm compared to the icy outside. It was a place to regroup and plan their next move. The atmosphere buzzed with excitement and determination as they settled in. Stratus paced back and forth, deep in thought. They had successfully defeated the guards and gathered valuable information, but the battle was just beginning. He looked at his team, who were busy reviewing the data they had retrieved from the alien outpost. "We need to come up with a solid plan," Stratus said, drawing their attention. "The aliens won't stop until they crush us. We need to be ready." Mira, the team's strategist, nodded. "I have been looking at the data, and it shows their supply routes and communication lines. If we can cut off their supplies, we can weaken them significantly." "Great idea," Jax chimed in. "But how do we do that?" "We need a way to sneak in and out without getting caught." Lila, who had been studying the maps, spoke up. "I noticed there are gaps in their patrols at night. If we move under the cover of darkness, we can slip past their defenses." Stratus nodded, feeling the excitement build. "Let's focus on one target first. We should cut off their main supply route. If we can disrupt their food and weapon supply, it will give us the upper hand." Mira quickly sketched a rough map on the cave wall, marking the alien supply routes. This is where we need to strike. The supplies come from this base and travel along this path. If we can set a trap here, she pointed to a narrow pass, we can ambush their transport vehicles. Sounds risky, but it could work, Stratus replied. Jax, you can lead the ambush. Your strength will be crucial when the vehicles arrive. Jax grinned, feeling eager for action. I'm ready. I'll make sure those aliens don't see us coming. Lila, you and I will keep watch from the high ground, Stratus continued. We can provide support if things go wrong. We need to be prepared for anything. As they continued planning, the weight of their mission hung over them. The soldiers were the last hope for humanity, and they knew they had to succeed. Stratus could feel the determination in the room, and it strengthened his resolve. They spent hours discussing every detail of their plan, thinking of every possible scenario. They needed to be ready for any surprises the aliens might throw at them. Finally, after long discussions, they felt ready. Let's review our roles, Stratus said, making sure everyone was on the same page. Jax will lead the ambush while Lila and I will cover you from above. Mira, you will coordinate our attack and watch for any enemy reinforcements. Understood, Mira replied, her voice steady. We need to be quick and precise. We can't afford mistakes. As the sun began to set, the cave was filled with a sense of urgency. Stratus glanced at his team, feeling a sense of pride. They were not just soldiers, they were a family, united in their mission to reclaim Earth. Tonight we fight for our home, Stratus declared, his voice strong. We may have lost everything, but we will not lose hope. Together we will strike back and show the aliens that they picked the wrong planet to invade. His words sparked a fire in their hearts, and they nodded in agreement. They gathered their weapons and gear, preparing for the battle ahead. Each soldier felt the weight of their purpose, ready to face the challenges that lay before them. As they made their way out of the cave, the darkness surrounded them like a cloak. Stratus felt a mix of excitement and fear. The time had come to take the fight to the enemy, and there was no turning back. They reached the narrow pass where they would set their trap. Stratus took a deep breath, steadying himself. He could feel the adrenaline coursing through his veins as they crouched down, hidden from view. The world around them was silent, but their hearts raced with anticipation. They were ready to reclaim their world, one battle at a time. And tonight, they would strike the first blow. The night was dark and cold as Stratus and his team took their positions near the narrow pass. Shadows danced around them, and the only sound was the rustling of leaves in the wind. Stratus could feel the tension in the air, a mix of excitement and fear. This was their first strike against the aliens, and they needed to succeed. Jax crouched low, ready for action. I can hear the vehicles approaching, he whispered, his eyes sharp. They'll be here any minute. Lila peered through the trees, scanning the road below. I see them! 2 trucks coming this way. They're heavily loaded. Stratus took a deep breath, steadying himself. Remember the plan. We strike fast and hard. Jax, you go first. When you see the trucks, charge in. Lila and I will provide cover from above. Mira, keep track of any reinforcements. The team nodded, adrenaline coursing through their veins. They had trained for this moment, and now it was time to show the aliens what humanity was capable of. Stratus felt a surge of pride in his team. They were strong and ready to fight for their home. As the sound of the trucks grew louder, Jax moved into position, crouching behind a tree at the edge of the road. He watched as the alien vehicles came into view, their lights shining brightly in the dark. Stratus and Lila remained hidden above, their hearts racing with anticipation. Now! Stratus called out, and Jax sprang into action. He charged down the hill with incredible speed, surprising the aliens. They barely had time to react as he leaped onto the first truck, slamming his fist down onto the roof. The aliens inside shouted in confusion, and Stratus took his chance. He fired his weapon from above, hitting the driver and causing the truck to veer off the road. The second truck skidded to a halt, and Stratus and Lila continued their assault. Keep pushing forward, Stratus shouted as he took aim at the aliens trying to exit the second vehicle. Lila moved gracefully, darting from one side to the other, striking down the aliens before they could organize themselves. Jax, still on the first truck, threw open the door and dragged the alien driver out. The creature was caught off guard, and Jax quickly knocked it out with a powerful punch. He hopped down and joined Stratus and Lila, ready to take on the remaining aliens. The battle raged on, and Stratus felt the thrill of combat surge through him. They were not just fighting for survival, they were fighting for their home, their family, and their future. The aliens, although numerous, were no match for the super soldiers' training and determination. Mira kept watch from her vantage point, her eyes scanning the area for any signs of trouble. "Reinforcements are coming," she shouted, urgency in her voice. "We need to finish this quickly." Stratus nodded, adrenaline pushing him forward. "Let's wrap this up. Lila, take the left flank. Jax, you and I will hold the center." They fought fiercely, pushing back against the aliens. Stratus felt a surge of confidence as they took down one enemy after another. They were fighting not just with weapons, but with the will to reclaim their planet. Suddenly, a loud explosion echoed through the air. Stratus turned to see one of the trucks had caught fire, smoke billowing into the night sky. "We did it!" he shouted. "We're winning!" But their victory was short-lived. More alien soldiers poured into the pass, their numbers overwhelming. Stratus felt a chill run down his spine. "We need to retreat," he called. "We've done enough damage for now." Jax fought back fiercely, helping to cover their escape. "I'll hold them off. You guys go," he shouted, determination burning in his eyes. "No way! We stick together," Lila insisted, grabbing Stratus's arm. "We can't leave him." Stratus felt a mix of fear and anger. They had come too far to lose a teammate now. "Jax, come on!" he yelled, pulling him back as they fell into a defensive position together. Realizing the urgency, Jax nodded. "All right, let's make our way back." As they began to retreat, Stratus felt a surge of pride. They had struck a blow against the aliens, and their team had fought bravely. They had succeeded in their mission, but the war was far from over. With new determination, they raced back to safety, knowing they would fight again. The first strike was just the beginning. Stratus and his team returned to their hidden cave, breathless from the excitement of battle. The air inside felt thick with a mix of adrenaline and the weight of their actions. They had succeeded in their first strike against the aliens, and now they had to decide their next steps. As they settled in, Stratus looked around at his team. Each one had a fire in their eyes, a spark of hope ignited by their recent victory. But the battle was far from over, and they knew they had to keep pushing forward. "We did well out there," Stratus said, his voice strong. "We struck a serious blow against the aliens. But we can't let our guard down. They will come for us, and we must be ready." Mira, who had been reviewing the maps again, spoke up. "Our ambush worked better than we expected. If we keep hitting their supply lines, we can weaken them significantly." Jax nodded, still buzzing from the fight. "We need to spread the word. Let other survivors know that we're fighting back." "They need to join us!" Lila, sitting close by, looked thoughtful. "But how do we reach them? The aliens control most of the communication systems now. We need a way to send a message that will inspire others to fight." Stratus pondered for a moment, then an idea struck him. "What if we use the alien technology against them? If we can hack into their systems, we could send a message to every survivor on Earth. We can show them that we are alive and fighting." Mira's eyes lit up with excitement. "That could work! If we can find their main communication hub, we might be able to broadcast a message of hope to everyone." The team rallied around the idea. Stratus felt a sense of purpose wash over him. They weren't just soldiers anymore, they were leaders. They would inspire others to rise against the alien threat. "Let's prepare for the next mission," Stratus commanded. "We will find their communication hub and send our message. But we need to be careful. The aliens will not let us succeed easily." The group spent the next few hours planning their attack. They studied maps, plotted routes, and discussed tactics. Stratus felt a surge of confidence as he watched his team work together, their minds sharp and focused. As dawn broke, they set out on their new mission. The sun rose slowly, casting a warm glow over the icy landscape. Stratus led the way, his heart filled with hope and determination. They moved stealthily, avoiding alien patrols as they made their way toward the communication hub. After hours of travel, they arrived at a large alien facility surrounded by high walls and armed guards. The place was buzzing with activity. Stratus felt a mixture of fear and excitement as he surveyed the scene. "This is it," he whispered, pointing to the building at the center. "That's where we need to go." Jax grinned, ready for action. "Let's take them by surprise again. We can't let them see us coming." They moved into position, hearts racing with anticipation. Stratus could feel the adrenaline coursing through him as they prepared to breach the facility. They had faced danger before, but this felt different. This time, they were fighting not just for themselves, but for all of humanity. "On my signal, we attack!" Stratus commanded, gripping his weapon tightly. As they charged forward, chaos erupted. Stratus and his team fought bravely, taking down alien guards with precision and skill. They pressed forward, their goal clear, to reach the communication room and send their message of hope. Finally, they burst into the control room, overwhelming the surprised aliens inside. Mira quickly got to work, accessing the alien technology. "I'm in!" she shouted, her fingers flying over the controls. "Get ready to send the message." Stratus stood guard, ensuring that no aliens would interrupt her work. His heart pounded with anticipation. This was their chance to inspire hope in others, to let them know they were not alone. Mira finished typing and turned to Stratus. "It's ready! What do you want to say?" Stratus took a deep breath, gathering his thoughts. "Tell them we are fighting back. Tell them humanity will not be crushed. We will rise again." Mira pressed the button, and the message began to broadcast across the airwaves. Stratus watched as the lights flickered and the screens lit up, spreading their message far and wide. "Together, we can reclaim our home!" Stratus's voice echoed through the facility. "We will not surrender!" With the message sent, Stratus felt a rush of triumph. They had done it, but there was no time to celebrate. They needed to escape before the aliens regrouped and retaliated. "Let's move!" Stratus shouted, leading his team out of the control room. As they raced through the facility, he felt hope blossoming in his heart. They had ignited a spark in humanity, and now they would fight to keep that flame alive. They burst through the exit and into the cold morning light, ready to continue the fight. Together they were strong. Together they were humanity's last hope.